apologize for the delay. We are the ladies of the tea. And this is actually a historical moment for us because this is the first time that we're actually doing this with a live audience. Woo! So we are going to be talking about Terry McMillan's I Almost Forgot About You. And for those who may have missed our wonderful interactions prior to this event, we're just going to do a quick intro of who we are so that you'll know a little bit about who we are, and then we're going to start a discussion about the book. Sounds good? Everybody's ready to go?
Hello, everybody. Hi, that's my crew over there. Hi, crew. And then I have a crew over here. Hi. Okay, so I'm Leanne Robinson. I'm part of this wonderful group, The T. I am also a dean of students in a middle school in Brooklyn. I have one son who's almost 17 years old and driving me up the wall. I love to shop and have fun, and I'm really, really enjoying this new endeavor with the ladies of the T.
Yay! All right. Woo-woo! Sherry, you're up.
Yes. Hey, everybody. I'm the baby of the bunch.
Yes,
She's the baby.
yes, she is.
My name is Cherie Celeste Malone. I currently reside in Brooklyn. I'm an actress, but I'm also from Philly. I also grew up in the DMV area. Anybody from Philly? DMV?
Yeah,
no?
there you go. Right. Yay for Philly.
I love being a part of this show, and I hope you guys truly, truly enjoy it. It's going to be an amazing show today.
Yes. Deborah.
I guess that would leave me. Hello, everybody. Y'all act like y'all not having fun. Y'all not having fun. Y'all supposed to be having fun. I know it's been hot. I got a suntan. I was like, oh Lord, I hope my makeup match when I come back out here. I was really going in because I do have a little touch of vanity every now and then. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, now residing in Baltimore. I'm an educator. I am enjoying being a part of the cast of the T because it's just wonderful. We get to read books, discuss books, and have a really good opinion about it and share it with people. And
yeah, we do.
I'm not going to say that we agree because we don't. And we have some spirited discussions when we discuss what we have read. I'm not going to go there. We're going to wait.
Yes.
And I'm just glad to give yourselves a hand because you look good.
Yeah.
And you're being good. And we're just happy that you are here supporting us today. And of course, a little part of my crew is here, and I'm excited, but we're going to depend on Leanne's crew to help us, because there's a lot of y'all here. Give yourselves a hand. Woo! All right, enjoy yourselves.
I am Deanna Erica, and again, we are the cast of the T. I have my crew here from New York. And this is actually a really great time for us. I'm a conflict resolver. I do not have bad hair days. And the word of today is read.
Read.
That's what we want everyone to do. That's what we're encouraging, not only the reading about the topics that mean the most to you and to us, because we're here to tell your story, but also after we read, let's have a conversation. And that's what we're about to do based on this book, I Almost Forgot About You by Terry McMillan. So, are we ready, ladies?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's
all
do
right.
it.
So here's the thing about this particular book. I loved this book. How many people have read the book? Okay, so we're not going to give it away. However, I loved the book. I do understand that many people didn't like the book. So I'm just going to talk to some people here on the stage to kind of find out what exactly went on with that. Like, what part of this book resonated with you? Since I started with you, I won't start with you. Fine. Go. Cherie, what part of this book resonated with you? And you're the baby. You're the baby. So let's go. Let's hear it.
Your elders.
No, Leanne, go.
Okay, I'm going to start with something positive because for me personally, I didn't really connect with the book. It wasn't really that engaging as other books that we've read. But for the most part, I think what I really liked about it was the relationships between the women. Because a lot of times in society today, in media, the stereotype basically is like, catty women, where we're taught to be catty.
Yeah.
And rarely do you have scenarios on TV or in films in which women are supporting each other. So I think one thing that definitely stood out to me in the book was just the relationships that you could dive into. Each page was just learning more about the relationships that kind of tie us together, that help us move forward.
Anybody here over 50? 50s rock. Come to 50s rock. Anyway, I think 50s rock. As a person over 50, I loved this book because it really talked about that stage where you are at that point when you're 50, where you're going, is this all there is? There has to be something else to this. You know, there has to be more, and if not now, when? So that's the part that I was really excited about. Be clear, and Terry McMillan is not watching at this time because she's in Cabo, we know that for a fact. This was the first of her books that I really just got into it and loved. And it was because of that aspect of it, where I am in my life, and where the character Georgia, where she is in her life, and what she's looking at. Because as a mother of adults, listen, enough said. What do you think? I'm just gonna say, you know, they make decisions, and then you are caught in that space of not wanting to interfere, wanting to kind of step back, but you see them heading for that cliff, and it's not like they're heading for a cliff that they're gonna, you know, as my girlfriend says, they're not gonna stop. They're steady heading, and you want them to have an opportunity to make their own mistakes, but at the same time, just go, you don't want to go there. So that's some of what she's experiencing in the book, and that's what I connected to and said, felt, understand that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But you didn't like it. Now, you guys were, be honest, who didn't like it?
Okay. You go ahead.
All right,
So
so
go ahead.
I'm not gonna say I didn't like it.
Be diplomatic, go ahead.
It was okay.
You didn't like it.
It was okay.
You didn't like it.
It was very difficult for me to get into. But once I got into it, like you,
Right.
Cherie, I found something positive to pull out of it.
Okay.
And the positive aspect, like you said, relationships. So the main character, Georgia, the relationships that stood out with me were the relationships that she had with her two best friends.
She didn't care for
And
that.
for me, as you see my crew here, my friends became my family. So can I get personal with y'all for a little bit?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get a little bit personal so I can make this connection for you guys. So growing up, my friends had to look out for me because I, was separated from my mom when I was 5 and I left home at 16. So my friends were the one who kind of took care of me and supported me, and that was my family and still is my family. And in the book, she has 2 type of best friends, and we all have these friends. Everybody has friends for different things, correct? You have one circle for this and one circle for that.
Yes.
So I have my friends that don't drink with me, and I have my friends that turn up with me. I have friends for everything. So in the book, she has the friend that all of her friends are very supportive of the decisions that she makes in life. But you have the one friend that would support you whether the decision that you're gonna make is good or bad. And then you have the other friends that you don't wanna tell stuff because you know they're not gonna support it, but they still love you. So like I have my cousin out there, I don't wanna blow her up, but years ago I made a dumb mistake, right? And she was the only one that followed me to do this dumb mistake. I didn't tell anybody else what I was doing.
Right.
But when they found out, oh boy, were they mad. But it's just to say that in the book, when you have people who love you and support you, they do it in different ways. So the connection that I made was, I have a circle of people and a family that love me, but it's just in different ways. So that's the connection that I made in the book.
That's a good one.
Okay?
That's good.
All right. I had to get something.
Dug deep and searched long. That's a good one. That's a good one. Pull it out.
Yep.
Make it proud.
All right. For me, it was a little hard for me to start reading the book because I've read several. How many people have ever read any of Terry McMillan's work? So you're familiar with her writing style. So when you've read something and you've gotten into other books, you expect it to kind of like pop. pop, pop. Or when you pick up something that somebody's read again, you start to kind of see some characters like, wait a minute, that sound like, yeah. So it took me a minute to get past it because I was familiar with some of her other characters, which was fine. But the part, I guess, that would have to, that resonated with me, and I had to like speak to this, is the relationship that the main character had with her daughters. Even though she did not get along with the fathers, even though she had ill feelings about the fathers, she never held her kids back from having a relationship with their fathers. And that was major because I see so many children, because also as an educator as well, I see so many children that have issues with their fathers because of the issues that the mother had with the father. And so to see a character really support her children's decision, that was major, because as women, as parents, as guardians, as people that pour into the kids' lives, we say so many times that Black lives matter, but do they really matter in your household? And if they matter in your household, then we'll start seeing it spilling over into the streets, because so many times the kids are learning hate at home. And I really appreciated that she never taught her kids to hate, not even her friends, not even when one of the daughters had an issue with her husband or some other things. She never taught them to belittle anybody, but to love them and to figure out what the real story was.
So
and that's what resonated.
This brings us to a really important point. The juncture we are right now, just with everything that's been happening in our communities, everything that you've seen in the news, we're talking about relationships. You brought it up, Deborah, relationships at home. You're both educators, you're in the schools. The reason that we talk about Black Lives Matter is because unless something major happens, it's as if it doesn't matter. So what can we do? What are we going to do to really keep this conversation going?
I would say that as a young person, and I try and advocate this to my peers, vote. Because as much as we complain, change is not going to come when those you put in office are not fighting for your rights. I mean, there are so many times, especially in the past elections, when a majority of Republicans got into office, a lot of things, or certain bills that were trying to be passed by Obama, we were so upset that, why aren't they working together? I think a lot of times, aside from the conflicts that we all have, I think one thing that we have to do together is educate everyone to get up off your butts, stop complaining, come together and vote. Because otherwise, things aren't going to change.
Do we really think that voting will make that big a difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because again, you're showing, if you get out to vote, number one, you are supporting the lineage that you're standing on. You're standing on the history of how many people, even as women, how many women died or fought just to vote. Then how many African Americans died and fought just to vote. So if nothing else, you're supporting your history. Now, will it make a change? Of course it will. If they start seeing how many people are going to the polls, now we see, okay, now these bills aren't getting passed, but now I see the majority of African Americans are going out to vote, not just because they feel like it's a African American president, but because they believe in the issues, they believe in what's being said, then yeah, voting does make a change. Now, will it make a change quickly? Of course not. But it starts to show the momentum. It starts to show that we do care. It starts to show that we are paying attention to what's going on in America, because a lot of times you don't have a voice because you don't stand up to be heard. And that leads to what I'm committing myself to. As an African American female, I've decided that I'm going to start working harder with our young ladies, because so many times our young ladies are not being ladies. We teach them how to be little girls. We teach them how to be the woman of the house, but you haven't taught them how to be a lady. There are certain things ladies don't stand for. There are certain things that ladies just don't do, which leads to we're going to be called empowered ladies of Godiva. No, we're not talking about the candy. We're going to be teaching them that they're gorgeous, that they're optimistic, that they're determined, that they're independent, that they're victorious and achievers. Because so many times that's something that's not being instilled into our little girls to be young ladies.
How much of that conversation, though, is based on what we think others think of us? because even in the book, the decisions that Georgia had to make about her life, it was always about, if I do this, what will people think? If I'm with this person, what will people think?
And that's why she should have
If
had
I
my book.
move, what will people think? So if we're really honest with ourselves, a lot of the decisions that we make is really driven by what will people think? Yay or nay? Like, I'm bald. I love being bald. I don't care what people think. I don't have bad hair days.
Right.
There's no blowing in the wind, getting wet, hat messing it up. Look, here's my conclusion. I have saved a good 10 years because by the time the Lord says, okay, I'm going to take it, I'm going to trade in all those 4 hours that you sit at the hair salon. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Add it up. 4 hours a week multiplied by 52, multiplied by years. I've taken some time back. So I really don't care. I don't care now what people think.
Right.
So a lot of what we do in terms of the decisions that we make, what we do with our lives, it's driven by what will people think, who we love, who we date,
But
where
see,
we live.
When we're speaking about, what people think, you have to also realize when you are concerned what others think, that comes with a self-esteem level. So if individuals are not at a point in their life where they are at that point where they can say, I don't care what anybody else thinks, I'm going to do what I want to do, then they have to deal with the self-esteem issue, because I was one of those people. I cared what people thought before.
In the past tense?
In the past tense, I did. Now I don't care. I'm me, and that's what it is. But I had to go through a lot to transform my mind, to transform my way of thinking. It takes positive people being around you, people instilling positive values and words, and for me, God and everything. It just took that positivity to change my way of thinking, because I was one of those people who cared what people thought. So if they don't have it in them, it's just going to take a minute, and they have to be surrounded and they have to be exposed. And it's just a lot of different things that comes along with people saying, I don't care what others think, because a lot of people in this world care what others think.
And so to clarify, we're not saying that you should act any way that you want to. We're not talking about being disrespectful. We're not talking about behaving in an unladylike way because we're women. That's not what we mean when we say do whatever you want and act however you want, because you know good and well when we see people doing that, we're kind of like, why? Why are you doing that?
Right.
And we feel ashamed of them. Honestly, we've been there and we're like, oh no, no. So we're not talking about it in that way before y'all start slamming us on social media. That is not what we're saying. That's not what we mean. What we mean is, again, those positive values.
Right.
It's okay to care that you don't have cleavage showing, for example. It's okay. It's okay if your skirt is tastefully short. So we're saying it's okay when you're comfortable with these decisions that you've made and you feel good about who you are.
Okay, well then I do have a positive aspect, another one. About Georgia's decision to kind of leave her job. Now, Georgia, she's an optometrist, and she had a successful job. And I think for her, what took her so long, when she got to a point where she wasn't really confident anymore, she didn't really fit in her job, I think what took her so long to make the decision to actually get up out of everything and say, you know what, I'm just going to start over, I'm going to do something else, was because she was concerned about what other people were thinking about her. And I think based on this discussion, I actually find it very empowering for everyone, no matter what age you are, that you have to understand that no matter what age you are, you can start over.
Yes.
Yes.
You can try something new.
Totally agree, because and I think a lot of times, even as women, because I know I find myself, honey, when I get 50, let me tell you, you think I say what I want to say now. When I get 50, oh, it's over. And I say that, but then I was like, and I thought about it. I said,
like she's that far away from 50,
I'm not
y'all.
that
She's
far.
not that far away.
I'm not that far away. But I promise you, even now, I've made up my mind. It's like I've made up my mind that it's time to start over. It's time. You keep complaining about you don't like your job, you don't like the situation that you're in, you don't like where you live. But how many times have you started to get up and pull your bootstraps up? So many times that, oh, the Lord is gonna do it for me. Well, boo, if you haven't filled out a job application, that you're supposed to have. Stop it. Stop it.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, all right now, amen.
Because so many times we want to wait for everybody to do something for us. When you gonna put on your own shoes, baby? Put on your own pumps and start hitting that ground and running. Because you have to start kicking possibility in the head and doing what you have to do. Because so many times we sit back, just like the other friend, I cannot think of her name, that had
Violet.
She was waiting, and it was like, it's her. And I almost started to think, is her name synonymous to the way that she acts? Because violets are dark. Violets don't do certain things. Violets are a dark flower. You know, you don't really think of a violet when you think of something happy. So is her name synonymous to the way that she's living? And that's another side note. Watch what you name your children. Stop naming them after cars. They're not running after nobody. Stop that. But you know, look at what you're doing. Because and that's why I started thinking, because, okay, I'm sorry, that's the English teacher coming out too, says, what is the author really trying to tell you? You know that conversation in class. So, you know, that's what I felt like.
So we've shared what we thought of this book. We've shared how it's touched our lives and the aspects that we have focused on. We now want to hear from you. Who wants to share their thoughts on either the book or what aspects of the book have touched your lives?
Or if you have any questions.
Or do you have any questions of us? Now's the time.
I remember you asked how many of us in the audience are over 50, and I said, yes, I'm over 50. Then I got the idea that being over 50 is something limiting, and I wanted to disagree with that. I don't know what the character in the book is saying about being over 50, but for many of us baby boomers, my cousin had a birthday party at 50, and his announcement was, quote, life begins at 50.
Yes.
End
exactly.
quote. I'm late for this event because I'm coming from a United Nations event. And so many of the volunteers are over 50. We're doing what we call philanthropy. We're looking out for women in shelters. We're looking out for children. We're going global. So if you're over 50, life really begins, because if you look around your environment, you'll see that we don't have to listen to Black Lives Matter to know that we have a lot to do to help our community.
Yes.
Right.
So if you're over 50, you're looking at retirement, you're looking for something to do, there are a lot of opportunities, like you said, to pull up your bootstraps and start helping the children or even adults who've had problems, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Yes.
And that's exactly what she did.
Thank
she
you
was
so
over
much.
50, but she was restarting her life in the book. Georgia was actually, and that's what the character does.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm a librarian and I have a community book club, and I wanted to introduce the book to them because the majority of my members are senior, and I am over 50. I'm over 60.
There you go.
In line with that, I just wanted to hear your discussion, and I'm really pleased to hear you. Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to 60, by the way. Yes.
You have a ways.
Most of my circle of friends, we're about to hit a big milestone this year. We're going to be turning 40. And you know, like you said about when you turn 50, life begins. I feel like life begins for me at 40. Like, I feel like I know myself so much better now. I have so much more confidence. And if I wish I could go back in time with the knowledge I have now and like do things, not that I want to do things over, but I think I could do things so much better if I had the knowledge that I have now. So my question to you guys is, if you can go back to your young girl self and tell yourself something, each one of you, what would be the thing that you would tell your young self?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Rolling.
Back and
Okay.
You want each one of us to answer?
In a minute.
Start with you. Yeah.
Go, Sheree. You can go
The
first.
youngest one. Yeah, the youngest one.
We'll
Too
go
bad the baby
age
starts
order,
first.
and y'all can figure out how old we are.
Short and sweet, I just think being around just knowledgeable, passionate, beautiful women of color, I think for me, what I've learned is not to linger on past mistakes and just keep moving. because I think there was a time that I kind of just always thought about the mistakes that I made and what I would have done differently, and it made me miss opportunities that were right in front of me. So for me, just to take the mistakes, learn from them, and keep it moving. So, thank you.
I think I would tell my younger self that be careful with the people you surround yourself with. I mean, as much as I had many positive influences, I also had negative influences around me that I had to eventually later on in life let go, because you know that negative energy, it drains you, it takes from you, and then you start developing that negative energy and putting that out into the world as well. So if I could go back, that's exactly what I tell myself. These negative people that have no good for me, I would leave them alone, and that's why they gone now.
There you go.
I like it. If I had to go back and write a letter to my younger self, yes, it would have to be a dissertation, because my younger self would not be able to speak to you as I'm speaking to you now, because I would listen to what other people had to say. The judgment of me, of how I looked, or the family that I came from. Not that I came from a bad family, but I don't stand up or look like the rest of them. I was proud to say that my last name was Franklin, so I wouldn't be associated with other people. And then I used to hate when people, and I always have to give this story. When I was younger, my parents made sure that I went to a better school. So that meant I went to school with the doctor's kids, the lawyer's kids, the people that worked in all the big companies and all the big buildings downtown. So I used to think lower of myself, because my daddy was a truck driver and my mama worked at the bank. And then I was really like, I wouldn't tell nobody, oh no, they can't know nothing about us, because I didn't fit. But then something dropped in my spirit real quick. How about if your daddy didn't do his job, then they daddies couldn't do their job. So that started to build my self-esteem about myself up. So to tell my younger self would be, get over yourself and get over what people got to say. Do you, get up and do you, and be the best you that you can be. And that's where I would have to go back and tell myself.
Yeah. So guess who's the oldest sitting up here? Did y'all figure it out? So what would I tell my younger self? I wish I knew at 20 what I now know at 54, which is this too shall pass, because it always does. But in that moment, I feel as if it never will. And so instead of accepting what a wise man once told me, which is, you are exactly where you need to be at this moment in time. And if we live each moment remembering that, then it's not a wasted moment and you don't have regrets. You are exactly where you need to be at this time. And if we embrace this moment in that way, then when you look back, you have more moments of thanks than you do of regrets.
Yeah. Well said.
Looks like we have another question. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, my sisters. I wanted to join you, tremendous quartet, saluting our visiting royal mother from the U.S. Virgin Islands, the home of another HBCU, the University of the Virgin Islands, where a brand new medical school is rising today. My question, my sisters, will there be a live town hall where you have 4 brother contemporaries at the table with you, chopping it up village style?
We just want to chop it up Philly style, or you want to what is this? Cut and screw like Texas style, but chop and screw the whole village.
Well, here's a great thing. Here's the great thing about what it is that we're doing. We're open to all possibilities. Because we're going where no one has gone before. All you Star Trek people, I do watch Star Trek. So yes, we can only say great possibility, and we're open to all of them. And I thank you for presenting, because one of the questions that we were asked after we did our promos and we did our review of Lost Canyon, they said, but it's a chick thing. You know, it's not for men. It's very much for men. You can learn a lot about women, how we think, what the thought process is, and how we feel by listening to our conversations. So it's absolutely for men. So yes, we do welcome that idea, and our producers are certainly listening to that. So yes, absolutely something that we will embrace. Thank you.
All right, we have another question.
I am what is considered to be a millennial.
Okay.
And I am listening to you ladies give all this wonderful advice. And at the same time, like I'm here at the Harlem Book Fair listening to you ladies, and my friends are out and about at a day party. But how would something to this extent, how could, I know you said you're open to all possibilities, but how would you be able to attract the millennial population to be able to tune into the tea as well? And I know Sherry.
I'm a millennial.
No, I know. I understand. And I was like, when I was listening to you, I was like, I feel like she does. But I wonder who else can we pull in to be able to do this? Because a lot of my friends, like, we'll read our books, but we don't really discuss them, or we don't really talk about the issues out loud. We kind of keep them to ourselves because we are afraid of what perceptions our friends may have of us when we do have certain opinions about various things. So when it comes to the different books that are being read, is there going to be books that millennials can like click to that are nonfiction and say, oh, well, I can definitely relate to it? Because I don't know if I'll be able to relate to Terry McMillan that much in this book. I mean,
Well,
this is what I
actually,
hear.
I started reading Terry McMillan. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I started. How old are you? I don't. You,
28.
Yeah, I started reading Terry McMillan around your age with some of her early books. Everybody else? So actually her books they transcend. And don't be afraid of a book because of your age. Read it and pull out what you can. I'm sorry, this is the English teacher getting ready to come out.
She needs to answer the millennial question. You are not a millennial.
I'm not, but I teach them.
No, you're not.
And also do it on social media.
Answer the question. She said from a millennial.
She had to get
That's
that
how
out.
it looks when you won't like let go of where you were.
I think for me, this is something I've talked about with my friends as well. And I would say the first book that we also reviewed, I really connected with. And for the most part, I think that we're open to comments, we're open to discussions on our webpage because we want more ideas. This is something new. This is something that hasn't been done before, and we're willing to just branch out and kind of add different segments to our show. So for me, I think that definitely in terms of just discussing it and choosing various books in different episodes that really connect to millennials is open possibility. Most definitely.
Miss Sierra, since you are here and the rest of your friends are at the day party, we need more young people like you. So you're going to be the promoter of this to transcend it towards your other fellow peers, okay?
And we're also high on social media.
Okay.
So did you hear that? Instagram, Snapchat, social media. Yes.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that will also be very different about what it is that we're doing. We're hitting social media. We're putting it out there because we recognize that that's the lane the millennials move in. If it's not on social media, it kind of doesn't count. Got you. We're there.
This is the idea of the tea. We think it's a good idea. What do you think? Yeah. You know, it's just time that we find ourselves, find ourselves. Okay. You know, in every media, on every platform, just sharing from who we know ourselves to be and having fun with it. I think it was Eddie Glaude in our last presentation, Professor Glaude, who said, you know, just be free. Just be, you know. So this is the tea. We're going to have fun. They are just... They're just all of us, no? There's something in all of them that are us. So thank you so much. Please talk to your friends about the tea. Thank you so much. Okay? Thank you, ladies.
Hey, thank you so much for coming.